congratulations on learning how to brand yourself, market yourself, and really be happy and excited about that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
First question I'll ask you. What made you change from New Era Nest to use your real name as far as, what you perform with?
I just felt like at a certain point, I just felt like an adult, and I felt like rap names almost create like a character, almost like wrestling, where it's like the content of my music is about stuff that I'm really going through or really went through, and it's like I didn't want to be a nickname no more. Like when you listen to me, like I want you to be listening to music from Chris Mattison and not whatever alias. You know what I'm saying?
I also changed my name to my real name. I felt the same way, but it was more of an intervention from God thing, and He told me all the things that you telling me. But that's another story.
It just makes sense because it's like just even with like just people that you know and shit, it's like they have certain like rap things that they go by, and then but you're like nah, man, that's Fred. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Fred. So that's all it was.
So, just this is a personal question when it comes to that because, like I said, I did the same thing. Do you feel like when you associate your art with your music and your name together, do you feel like it allows you to require more respect on your name? Like, do you feel like when people speak on you, they gotta speak proper because it's you yourself, the person, and you yourself, the brand?
No, I feel like people are gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, and a long time ago, I learned to stop making decisions based on what I think other people are gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like this is who I am. This is the presentation I want to give. It's like I'm Chris. You know what I'm saying? And it does make it easier as far as like people being able to find me. Because another thing too is New Era Nest, even though it was like cool for what we were doing back then, it's very hard to like pronounce. It's very hard to understand. Like if you're just a stranger and you see it, you don't know what that means. I remember going to shows and like trying to perform, and they'd be announcing my name, and they'd be like,
Right. I go through that with my real name all the time.
I'm sick of that, I'm over that.
Yeah. Hey, I went through that with my real name my whole life, so I definitely understand that. So either way, it was gonna happen like that as far as the stage go. But that, like, I gotta make it a point if I do go to perform and DJ. I have to make it a point because it's just like that's my name is my name. I always looked at it like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was dope.
Yeah, because that mess you up. Like, if you get because every time I perform, I get butterflies, regardless no matter how many times I perform. And like, if I'm getting ready to perform and they mess my name up, it's like, oh, they didn't already messed up the whole performance.
Yeah, it throw you off. Yeah, it throw you off.
Mm-hmm.
So, performing, I see that you use performance videos and then you shoot your music videos as well. But I'm just gonna get straight into it. The video that we were speaking on, what made you come up with that concept? Did you come up with that concept first before I even asked what made you come up with it? But did you come up with the concept of the video first?
I didn't actually. The original idea my girl came up with, and it was actually for a whole different song. I played her the song, and we were thinking of video concepts, and she was like, "You should do a video where like you're messing with a chick, and then she turns out to be like crazy, and she tries to murder you, and da 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 da." And that was like 2 years ago. And then I had the thought, but I didn't want to put it. If I was going to do it, I wanted it to look legit. I wanted it to look like an actual movie. I didn't want to take that idea and then throw it in like some bullshit video. You know what I'm saying? So I made the song, and then if you listen to just the song itself, it's kind of like a I don't know, talking about like a girl coming over and having sex with you and then she got to leave. Maybe isn't the most marketable song in hindsight. So I was trying to figure out a way where I could like do it where it's still something that women could like watch and not feel like offended by, and then be able to listen to the song. So having a woman at the end be the one that's in charge or that has the power, and it seemed like a good flip on what the actual song is about.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, the video had me captivated. Just looking at people who do videos, they don't really do a lot of detail. Mostly, the ones that you just hey check it out, type of situation. So I was definitely impressed by the detail. The effects was crazy. I see that you got RT in there. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
dope. I went to school with RT. I thought that was pretty dope. That he done took that
yeah.
he done took that acting to a level because he had me convinced. Like, damn, I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. Nah,
And he just switched up one day. One day he was rapping, one day he was like, "Oh, I'm about to start acting."
yeah,
And then he just ran with it. The RT is like, I like art. I like anybody that's really about it. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. You know what I mean? Don't be jumping in and out halfway with it. RT is like, I committed to this. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing for this point moving forward. And anytime I gotta work with RT, it's professional. I don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Is he gonna show up on time? Is he gonna be ready? Is he da da da? Like, he's a solid dude. So
that leads me into one of my questions. You originally are you originally from like Fredericksburg area or you moved there? 'Cause that's where I know you from. You know what I'm saying? As far as personally.
yeah,
Are you so
I
you?
spent I spent the majority of time in Stafford, and then my parents split. And when my parents split, I moved to Fredericksburg.
Okay.
And then that's where I spent the majority of my teenage years before I moved down here to Richmond.
Okay.
So,
And moving down to Richmond, I just wanted to make sure before I ask this question. Moving down to Richmond, as far as with your music and with your art, how do you see the culture as different? Like I know it is, but like how do you see it? Like how do you see the culture as far as poetry, art, and being able to move around with it differently than from home?
it's different, but it's kind of the same, man. Like kind of every city has their own type of like image, their own type of like language, the way they talk, the way they move. But at the end of the day, when it comes to making music, it's really all the same shit. It's a bunch of artists. All of them feel like they're the best. All of them want to get to a certain point. You know what I mean? Everybody's in each other's way. Nobody really knows how to get it. The people who are getting it don't really share the tools. It's the same. No matter where you go, it's like kind of it's the same thing. I will say that Richmond does have I would say like a head start on like artistry. Like it's a lot of art, like artists here. Like when I say artists, I mean like not like they just rap. I mean like they view music as like they're making a museum with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, I understand completely.
We I would say us from Fredericksburg, I would say that we're much more business oriented though. Like it kind of threw me off because when I first moved down here, it was like a lot of people that I was working with was doing videos for like super low budgets. That's like that in Fredericksburg, you wouldn't even be able to find a nigga to shoot you a video for the prices that these niggas paying for it. And
Right.
Just like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of different stuff where I'm like, why would you do that just because it's quick? Like, because we're just used to, you know what I mean, traveling. Like another thing too is like a lot of times Richmond people, I like Richmond artists, but it's very few and far between you find somebody that'll move outside of the area to like do a show or do da da da. Up north, we're used to driving. You know what I'm saying? So if you got to drive to DC, you got to drive to da da da. That's a huge commute, so it's not a big deal to get on the road. But that's pretty much it.
So another question I wanted to ask you, I mentioned people want to be the best and everything. What I've noticed from just your artistry over time, I can't say I've listened to all of your music for your whole career, but I've always came across it in some sort of fashion. And what I've noticed now is you went far into the reality aspect of what your life has grown out to be, and you still managed to keep the lyrical content at a high level, like a really high level. And I wanted to ask you, how important was it for you to make sure that you keep that lyrical foundation in your music?
It's not as important as you would think it is. Like,
as it sounds like.
Yeah, it's yeah. I want to be. I always want people to be able to say that, like, yo, he can rap. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like if I just rap well and I'm not saying shit, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's like now I'm like I want to be able to tell stories. I want to be able to illustrate things that I couldn't say before. You know what I mean? A lot of times, even with us as artists, like I look back on a lot of times where I felt like I was looked over or underrated. But a lot of those times it wasn't that I was looked over or underrated. It was that like my shit was whack. Now I'll be the first one to tell you, like I've been rapping, as you know, I've been rapping for a long time, and it took a long time for me to figure out what I wanted to say and how I wanted to deliver it. And
Right.
the projects that people heard prior to that wasn't the best version of me. So I can understand how people would like listen to that and be like, oh, I'm cool on that nigga. You know what I mean? But now it's just like it sounds different. It's the same me, but it's just I know how to deliver what I want to say now. So it's all coming together.
Yeah, because I definitely see. I hear that. I hear a lot of what you're saying in your music, and that's why I asked because you seem to mesh it well. So I can believe that you say it doesn't really matter as much as it seems. But
Uh-huh.
I can see that you really mesh it well. And one of the things that I notice is I hear a lot of raw emotion when you make songs that have to do with women. It's like
Yeah,
I hear a real competitor any other time, like a competitor rapper, and not really like that you aim for competition or anything, but more just you put a lot of energy into your music, and I see that you learn how to channel your energy through each song. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
however you really feeling, you can really tell through your music, and you are. It sounds as if because I don't know. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just going off of what it sounds. It sounds as if you are willing to lay it all out on the line, like every song, like as if like a basketball player who had that passion for basketball, leave it all out on the floor. I feel like your latest stuff, and I say for like the past 2 years, I've heard you lay it all out every time. Like it's like I don't care if I prove it to you, but I don't have nothing to prove. But this is what caliber I'm at. Like
yeah. I appreciate it. It's just it's like as you get older, you start to care less about all this shit. You know what I mean? Especially now, like I got my son, and it's like I don't care. I don't care who thinks who's the best. I don't care about all this other frivolous shit. Like I just want to tell my story.
right,
That's it. And at this point, it's like I'm gonna give you me, and where it lands is where it lands. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I spent a a big portion of my career just like, oh, I got to focus on making a hit, focus on making a song that was gonna connect to somebody. Like, okay, well, this would be good for this,
yeah,
and this would be good for that.
yeah,
But it's like it's forced. You know what I mean? It's like it's not working because you're not saying what's really on your mind. And when it comes to the songs for women, I feel like that's where I have the most um, experience in. As far as like we can talk about, like I can talk about fighting niggas and doing all that extra shit. But that's not how I'm living now. You know what I mean? I'm a grown ass man. So
correct.
it's like this is my life. So I can talk about a lot of those things because now I'm starting to learn that, like, I'm starting to learn the intricacies and like the shit that I was doing wrong when I was younger. And shit. It's like I used to think that like just because I had chemistry with a woman that I had to fuck with.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like,
right,
so it's
right,
like
right,
thinking
right.
back, reflecting on shit. It's like, yo, you didn't have to do that. I didn't have to treat her that way. I didn't have to set her out. And maybe it was things about her that made me like whatever. So it's like all that stuff comes out in reflection, and then it comes out in these songs. So
And those songs with the women, like, first off, just expressing emotion with women in general is a vulnerable state. But you become very, very vulnerable on your music. What are the reactions that you get from that, from male or female? Your fans, you know what I'm saying? The ones that you really pay attention to.
yeah, I, I would say, and this is not to be like arrogant, but I would say like 98% of women really fuck with this shit. Because the thing about it is, it's the truth. You know what I mean? It's not like I think at the end of the day, the majority of women will respect whether they agree with what I said or didn't. They've all messed with a dude that had similarities to the shit that I'm talking about in my music. So
Right.
it's like when I speak, you can feel it because you've been there. That's who I am, and that's my music. You know what I mean? When I rap for people who have been through the same stuff I've been through.
Yeah.
Now, there has been a few random people that will like hit my inbox and be like, "You're a fucking dog." you're all this. So I'm like, all right,
That's fair.
That comes with it. So I don't be mad at that. But,
you got some strong viewpoints. You have some strong viewpoints. I mean, and I know that it's artistic. You know what I'm saying? I know that it's not like, you're one track mind or anything. But you have some strong viewpoints and some strong like expressions in that music when it comes to your women. I'm like, yo, like it's like it leads me to one of my questions that I definitely wanted to ask is, how transparent are you in your music when it comes, just in general, on the way I feel when I listen to it? It's just like, mind you, we've known each other about music, not really personally, mostly, and when I listen to your music, I'm like, dang, you never would have known. You know what I'm saying? You never would have known he went through that, or never would have known he felt like that. Just really listen. And me, I'm a person that I tell people like it was really hard for me to articulate who I was, how I felt. But when my music, I was like ultimately transparent because that's where I can leave it, like I said earlier, leave it online. So how transparent are you in your music at this point?
I feel like some things I'm very transparent, like the dialogue about women and stuff like that. Some stuff in my life, how I grew up, and what I was taught is what happens in the house stays in the house.
Right.
So sometimes it's difficult for me to talk about things that have happened, because in order to do that, I may have to out people that was there with me when it occurred. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just because I make music doesn't mean that's that person's choice to have their business out too.
Definitely learned that in the early stages of making music.
You said what?
I've definitely learned that in the early stages of making music, like for sure.
People get mad. It's just like I try to. And another thing too is like I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's me as a person. Like if I'm friends with you, you're my family. If I fuck with you, I treat you like a brother or a sister or whatever. And a lot of times when I fall out with people or anything happens, I'm not even gonna speak on it because it's like I know what occurred. That person knows what occurred. Yada yada. So it's like I'm not gonna put that in my music. There's a lot of things I'm not gonna touch on in my music when it comes to that. But as far as like me personally and stuff that I've been going through, my son or passing of my pops to whatever it may be, I try to put that in the music. But some stuff I won't touch it.
Those two things are huge feelings. The passing of your pops and just even having a child. Having a child is an everyday feeling.
Yep.
I mean, passing of your pops is too, but it wasn't everyday. So, what I mean. Like, so my question to you is about that is like, did you use music to balance those times when it was like you still felt like you had to be a father and upbeat, energy high, and you still had to grieve? Do you feel like you use music in any of those times to try to balance that?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for the Beauty and the Anchor album. When I look back on the album, I don't feel like it was like one of my best bodies of work, but I feel like it was needed. At the time it was needed. A lot of times, like, especially with, I ain't trying to be sexist, but especially with men, we have so many responsibilities as far as taking care of people and being strong and being in control, that when you're dealing with something like that, it's hard to maintain that image for other people so that they'll feel comfortable without killing yourself, though. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm waking up forcing a smile, forcing it like I'm good, but I'm not good. I'm fucked up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that whole album, I made that whole, I recorded, or not recorded, but I wrote that whole album in like 2 weeks. I sat down, I drank, I smoked, which I'm not advocating, whatever, but I drank, I smoked, and I wrote. And I was up to like 4 o'clock in the morning every night until I got it all out. So once I got it all out, it's like, I feel his presence all the time. You know what I mean? But But I got that out of my system, and it's time to move forward.
How has being a father affected what you say in your music? Not like censorship, but more so direction.
Now it's more so like I made a lot of risks. I spent a lot of money. I mean, just this year I spent about $12,000 on music, right?
Right.
And so I was doing either that, somewhere in that range every year. And it's like I'm not always recouping what I'm spending. So in that aspect, it's like I had to start looking at things based off of what am I getting back financially? Because now it's like I'm not just my risk. I don't just I'm not the only person to feel the brunt of the risk that I take. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So anything that takes food out of my son's mouth, or I feel like it's not worth the risk, I don't do it anymore. But it's actually made me more focused because, like, the things that I think are really important, I can just jump on them. I don't have to push out 30 songs this month. I can just focus on one joint and make sure that that joint goes. I'm trying to create businesses and things that bring back money long term because I know one day he's gonna want to go to college. He's gonna want to da da da. And I don't want to look him in his face and be like, we couldn't do this because your father wanted to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Yeah, man. Business. You know, I feel a lot of what you were saying, man. Business is definitely the way around still rapping and still kind of like trying to build as a father, because it's like myself personally, I feel the same way as far as I used to push out music a lot. It used to be like, you know, it was more than a hobby, but I pursued it as far as production wise, like a hobby. Like it was just something I did all the time. And I definitely believe in the quality that I've grown to have by not putting out so much, because I don't want people to hear what they've heard before of what I've said. Because I had asked you about what, you know, as far as the direction of your music as a father. Since I became a father, like I've already had my own personal mental growth and change, but like you said, I'm not really living like that no more. And it's like what I'm doing is, you know, really trying to like properly put my money in the right places,
right.
and you know, just create high vibes where I'm at, you know, with my family and things like that. And that I had to learn how to translate that into music or rap. You know, it's not even just music, because you know, when you handle your business all day personally, and you might kick back, you want to smoke or whatever, write a song. You're not really hype. You're not really like angry. You get what I'm saying? You kind of on some chill shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of on some what did I learn type shit. So I think that my music personally transitioned to my activity. That's just all. Like my transparency in my music is really like 100%, and that also made me write less music, because as I grew older, a lot of my music wasn't for. My life wasn't for my music. You feel what I'm saying? It was about real processes
Right.
that I do share, but I break them down into like metaphors and you know, bottom lines basically, versus journals about my daily life and my frustrations about the process when you got a family. So
Yeah, and that's what's dope about being an artist, honestly, because like you can get so many different perspectives. I mean, all of us that came from that same group, me, you, JB, like all of us that are still making music, it's still that same sound, but the content is like even with JB, like I listen to a lot of his music, because we've been tight for a long time, and it's just like to watch the growth of him and the stuff that he says in his music, and you and the stuff that you say in your music. It's like watching the evolution of people is crazy because it's just like you can hear it. If you've been following somebody long enough for a long period of time, you can see and be like, and look back and be like, whoa. Like I
yeah,
remember a couple weeks ago, you know Brian Birdie.
yeah,
Yeah, Birdie tagged me in a Facebook post, and he was talking about how in like I want to say it was I was a freshman or something. He was like, he took my CD and threw it out the window, and I remember that to this day, because I remember when they told me about it, and that shit crushed me. I was like, oh my, music. in hindsight, I'm like, that shit was probably whack. You probably didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. You know,
but at the time, I was crushed by it. But that drove me. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Every little thing, and then he tagged me. He was like, "Yo, I listen to you now." He was like, and I can't believe that that's the same person that was rapping back then.
I believe I chimed in on that statement. I believe I did. I believe I chimed in on that statement to agree, because what I see now, you really became your own person. You left it all on the line in the music, but when you really look at it, I'm like, yo, you're a real character that people can relate to. No, no slight on the word character, but just like if you were to embody you being a brand, you really could fit who you are into your brand. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, you really capitalized on that and used that to your advantage. And even if you meant to or not, from an outsider looking in who doesn't know your process, what you plan to do and what you want to do, just really seeing it's like, yo, this is a person that I know, but it's also a person that I don't feel like is too far gone to approach as far as you give out you human in your music. You're not invincible. You're not you're not like a superpower. But like I say, in the other music that's not the women, the quick little 1 minute freestyles or so, just that edgy side of your music, you're like a warrior. I'll be seeing it, I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? You can't deny it. And I think that, I really think that you really got like you got two extremes when it comes to how you know what I'm saying, whatever side you choose to make music on.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what I feel like? And I don't feel like on this tier, but it's how I can compare it. You're not gonna see LeBron jump 10 times a game no more.
Correct.
That shit's over with. He had to develop 3. And it's like, I can rap, you know what I mean? I can rap with whoever, you know what I mean, if I want to, but now it's like, I don't really want to do, you know what I mean? Like, I like rapping, but it's like, that's not my lane anymore. Now it's time to develop the cool stuff. Now it's time to develop, you know what I mean? What else can I do? Now, I just started, a couple days ago, I bought Fruit Loops. I want to learn how to make beats now. Last year, I got into digital market. I wanted to learn how to do digital marketing because it's like there's so many. That's why I be trying to preach. Like I won't be trying to preach, but that's why I be trying to tell artists. You know what I mean? There's so many different avenues to like make this money, and one of the benefits of always feeling like I got shit on, or people that look at me as the most successful person. One of the benefits of that is I had to figure out how to do it myself. You know, I had to figure out how to get seen myself, because like a lot of people in my city was like, I'm cool on that. I learned how to, you know what I mean, push my music because I didn't have nobody else helping me. I tried to put a team together back in the day, but I think niggas wanted to like look the part. And me, it's like I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out how to get this shit for real to the long term. So
right.
It all comes together, man.
So what are you trying to do other than like as far as in your future? Do you like see yourself trying to do like film work? Like, cause that your video was like, that one with Can I Stay? That's like a movie, bro. That was like a little, and I watched the post credit scenes too. Like, that was pretty wild as well. Like, when they get the blood going, I don't know, you feel me? Like, it was crazy. But
yeah, I want.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you get in the film? That's what I was about to ask. That's all.
Yeah, I right now it's just about time, and I really want to get in. I really want to get into acting, but if I do it, I want to be able to dedicate all my time to it. I don't want to be one of those people that's like half-assing, because you can tell, you know what I mean, especially with people who take that shit like serious, you know what I mean? You don't want to come in there like, yeah, I kind of do this on the weekends type thing. You know what I'm saying? So music to me is like my focal point, and especially once I figure out how many ways there is to like make money and be successful without being a mega superstar. You know what I mean? There's people that have really good lives off music that you never would know, like, you know what I mean? You don't hear them on the radio or nothing like that.
Right.
So once I figured that out and got out like the small town, I said, who out the Fredericksburg type shit. Like, I feel like I was able to focus on bigger things. So as to answer your question, like trying to get into like sync licensing, like get my music in movies and films and video games. I'm trying to get into producing. I'm about to start a marketing agency. Um, I'm writing for people, like it's whatever I can get my hands on that I can actually learn how to do. And I don't, you know, to half-ass it, like I can do it myself. That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm definitely interested in writing for people if you could point me in a direction or something like that. I ain't never really knew where to go to do something like that. But I'm definitely.
I don't know to do it either. But what I know, I'll let you know.
Hey, look, same here, bro. You know, because I'm definitely looking into it. But you know, I definitely want to. I got music that I feel like it's just not for me to, for me personally. But it's like I be coming up with some little shit that be like, oh, it probably sound like something for somebody else or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of the reason I kind of like I want to learn how to produce because like with pitching your music to people, I want to pitch it as a package. You know what I mean? I started my own publishing company because I wanted to be able to get paid directly off of it. Because when you get a lot of times when you try to start sync licensing, which is like in your music and TVs and film and stuff like that, they won't take it if it's produced by somebody else. They want you to own everything, the beat, the lyrics, all that. So I had to learn how to produce because I was like, I don't want to get turned down because I don't own all this shit. I'd rather own my beat, own my da-da-da. And it's the same thing with songwriting. It's like I want to pitch verses to people, but it would be doper if I could pitch the verse and the beat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, definitely. That's a good idea. Actually,
alley-oop.
What I want to ask you about that? Let me see. You guys said something along the lines of you're gonna sync licensing with the music and stuff. Oh yeah, the question was, what if you know the producer personally? You know, a lot of the producers I work with, I've always known them personally. So it's like, did that not count at all? You can't do it as a brand, and you know what I'm saying? We all under
You can. Yeah, you definitely can if you know somebody. Personally, I've always been in the mindset of like, just because I've always had to do everything myself, it's like, yo, what if I rely on somebody to do that and then we fall out? Or I rely on somebody to do that and then they move or whatever happens. They don't want to do it no more. I don't want to have to depend on nobody to be like, to make sure that the ship continues to move. You know what I'm saying?
Right, understood.
But it's always a benefit. Like if you got people that can do that for you, like maybe a beat today, y'all figure out, the splits on it, then you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, that's exactly how I would imagine most of my business going if I were to do such a thing. That's a cool idea though, bro.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever, come across that opportunity, I would definitely, let you know, hey, guess what? That shit you said, that was some good shit. Like, bro, you seem like you got a lot of you gonna gather a lot of information over the time, bro, just how to do what you're doing and actually make money off of it so you can continue to doing what you're doing mostly. I know people got the love and the passion for it, but if it's out there, why not get it? I definitely understand that completely, bro.
Yeah. A lot of that shit comes from, honestly, like, I paid, like, I'm going to tell you, like, a quick story. Right? This is why I got into digital marketing to learn how to do this, shit, stop for a second. How to learn how to do this shit myself. So, I'm not going to say no names because whatever. But I paid a company almost $1,000, right, to help me with my brand. This was like a couple years ago. They got on the phone. It was like, yo, what you need to do is update your website, update your social media, get some better pictures, and tell your story in your bio. That was it, right? So I was like, damn, okay. And then I was also paying them like $100 something a month to be subscribed to like a newsletter or whatever. So you can do the math on how much that costs, right?
Right.
So then one day, like, man, let me try to figure out how I can do this shit on my own. So I Googled it. I I got on YouTube, which is I recommend that for anybody. Like I got on YouTube, I searched it, I figured out how to do it, and then I put out Love You, and that joint got 100,000 views for like the first month and a half, I want to say, right? So then when I posted it, the same people I paid $1,000 to messaged me and was like, "Yo, is there any way you could show us what you did for that video so that we can implement it into our plan?" And I was like, "Hell no!"
Right. Nah, I'd be like, nah, I need that 1,000. I used to be like, yeah, he'd be like, I need 10,000. I'll show you.
Yeah, but that's where it comes from because a lot of people, this industry is about charging you for what you don't know. If you either learn the information or you're gonna pay for the information. So you figure out which one is more or less costly to you. But that's it.
Hey, bro. All right, so before I get you up out of here, because I ain't trying to hold you up all night, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, and the first one is about your top rappers, because I was gonna ask you in the interview, but I'm gonna just save it for the end, because you don't seem like I can't pinpoint who you. I could, me personally, I'm interested to hear.
All right. So excluding Jay, because Jay's my favorite rapper of all time.
Don't exclude Jay. Don't exclude Jay, because Jay still drops verses.
All right. So it will be J. Cole and Meek.
J. Cole and who?
It will be Jay-Z, J. Cole, and Meek Mill.
Meek Mill.
Meek Mill.
I'm cool with that.
I fuck with Meek Mill. Yeah.
I'm cool with Meek Mill. Meek Mill got a vibe that I fuck with time to time. All right. Since you're in the films, I'm definitely in the films. Top 3 movies.
Shit. Untouchables. Goodfellas. And Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club? That's crazy.
Yeah,
my lady loved that movie, The Breakfast Club. That's funny.
Yeah, that's my shit.
I never would have guessed you say that.
Y'all like a lot of weird shit. Like a little caveat for the people that's watching. My favorite TV show of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. No bullshit.
That's funny too, man.
No bullshit.
My man Nooney used to watch that shit. He used to have us watching that shit. Crazy. I ain't even gonna hold on. But yeah, man. All right. So the last question. What is your next title of your next project, if you have a next project?
I have no idea. I haven't actually thought about a next project. I haven't written any music in probably like 2 or 3 months. I've just been pushing Undelivered, which is out right now, by the way, on all platforms and YouTube. That's all I've been doing. My thing is like that video is doing really good right now. The song is doing really well, and back in the day, I probably would have jumped off of it and been like, "Oh well, I done already hit this amount of numbers, so let me go make 10 more songs that nobody's heard yet." But now it's like, if this is doing well, I'm gonna just ride this joint until whenever.
I definitely remember when I heard Undelivered. I'm like, wow. Like, first of all, I'm just hearing it. Mind you, I was telling you how I feel about the emotion and transparency of the song, but the concept of the song. Y'all go check out Undelivered on YouTube, or listen to it on Apple Music or wherever you listen to music, Spotify. But the ending of that song is the reason it's called Undelivered. Check it out.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna. You feel me? I'm gonna let them check it out, man. Undelivered is crazy. Hey, bro, I appreciate you fooling with me, man. We gonna continue to grow. I'm interested in a lot of stuff that you're doing, so I'm definitely gonna continue to reach out, man. And we'll just keep it moving forward from there, bro.
Yeah, just let me know. I'm an open book, and actually, you're really good at this, so we should plan to do something with this for real, because this is one of the best interviews I've ever done. So shout out to you.
Hey, thanks, bro. I appreciate that, man. I try to, like I said, when I come back, I was gonna add a little bit more to it. I feel like I have a natural skill for it, but just imagine what you can do when you do it the proper way that they do it,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, man. So thank you, man. You have a good night, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right.